The United States, celebrated for its economic growth and technological progress, faces the unfortunate reality that in some states, the quality of life has been deteriorating over the past 5 decades. These states might be teetering on the edge of collapse in 2024. Welcome to our channel, where we explore various locations around the globe. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so you never miss an update from us. In today's video, we'll delve into the 10 states that are likely to face collapse in 2024. We will examine the interconnected issues of economic instability, natural disasters, inadequate infrastructure, poor healthcare, and political mismanagement that contribute to these states' potential downfall. Stay tuned until the end to get the full picture. Without further ado, let's check out the list. Alaska confronts a complex array of challenges that threaten its stability and sustainability. Despite its rugged and self-sufficient image, the state heavily depends on external supplies for essentials like food and fuel. This reliance leaves Alaska vulnerable, as any disruption in supply chains could quickly lead to shortages, particularly in remote communities with limited access to resources. The state's once thriving crab fishing industry, a cornerstone of its economy, is collapsing due to climate-induced marine heat waves. This environmental impact has not only caused a devastating economic loss of approximately $300 million but has also disrupted local economies that rely heavily on seafood production. As a result, communities dependent on fishing face economic hardship and uncertainty, further compounded by ongoing challenges in diversifying their economies. Alaska also grapples with severe housing shortages. High costs coupled with limited supply have made home ownership unattainable for many residents. This situation not only exacerbates social inequalities but also poses challenges for attracting and retaining essential workers crucial for sustaining local communities and services. Financially, Alaska struggles with significant budget deficits. In 2021, the state reported deficits nearing $1.6 billion, depleting its reserves and indicating a looming fiscal crisis. These deficits are driven in part by the state's heavy reliance on oil revenues, which accounted for 80% of unrestricted revenues in 2019. With declining oil production and fluctuating prices, Alaska's fiscal health remains precarious, requiring sustainable economic strategies and fiscal management reforms. Demographically, Alaska has experienced a notable population decline, losing 24,000 residents between 2016 and 2020. This decline not only reduces the state's tax base but also diminishes economic activity and limits opportunities for growth. Political instability further complicates long-term planning and effective governance, particularly concerning debates over fiscal policies like the Alaska Permanent Fund dividend. California confronts a multifaceted array of challenges that pose significant risks to its residents and economy. Foremost among these are the constant threats of earthquakes and floods, exacerbated by its location on the Pacific Ring of Fire and its diverse geography. Critical infrastructure, like dams such as the Whittier Narrows Dam and the aging power grid, are vulnerable to seismic activity and heavy rains, risking catastrophic damage and substantial economic losses estimated at over $6 billion in potential flood damages alone. Financial instability looms large over California's banking sector, with recent regulatory changes and the collapse of major banks like Silicon Valley Bank raising concerns about economic stability. These developments underscore the fragility of the state's financial systems and their susceptibility to shocks, potentially impacting businesses and residents alike. Environmental degradation and climate change pose persistent threats. Prolonged droughts exacerbate water shortages, with overuse of groundwater in areas like the Central Valley leading to critical water deficits. This, in turn, threatens agricultural productivity, a cornerstone of California's economy. Meanwhile, rising temperatures fuel more frequent and severe wildfires, devastating communities, destroying homes, and straining emergency response efforts. The high cost of living in California is another pressing issue, particularly in densely populated coastal cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles. Skyrocketing housing costs, with average rent exceeding $3,000 per month in major urban centers, contribute to housing insecurity and homelessness, which disproportionately affect minority communities. Homelessness rates in California are the highest in the nation, with socioeconomic disparities exacerbating the issue. High taxes, including the nation's highest income and wealth taxes, drive businesses and residents to states with lower tax burdens, threatening California's revenue base and exacerbating economic inequality. New York City, a global economic hub and cultural icon, faces a spectrum of challenges that threaten its resilience and well-being. One of the prominent risks is the potential for food shortages during crises due to the city's dense urban landscape and heavy reliance on external food supplies. This logistical dependency could exacerbate challenges in distributing essential goods during emergencies, potentially leading to widespread shortages and social unrest. High crime rates present another significant concern for New York City. Despite efforts to improve public safety, major crimes have increased sharply in recent years, posing challenges for law enforcement and public safety agencies during crises. The strain on law enforcement resources could further escalate, impacting the city's ability to maintain order and ensure public security. Economic instability compounds New York's challenges. The city's economy, heavily reliant on sectors like finance, media, and tourism, is susceptible to global economic fluctuations and market disruptions. Recent bankruptcies of financial institutions like Republic First Bank highlight vulnerabilities in the financial sector, contributing to uncertainties in the broader economy and impacting businesses and residents alike. Housing costs in New York City rank among the highest in the nation, with a significant portion of households burdened by housing expenses. The median home price exceeds $400,000, making homeownership out of reach for many residents and exacerbating housing insecurity. High rental costs, particularly in Manhattan and other central areas, further strain household budgets and contribute to socioeconomic disparities. New York's tax burden is among the highest in the country, with substantial income and property taxes placing additional financial pressures on businesses and residents. These high taxes, coupled with the cost of living, contribute to outmigration trends, with hundreds of thousands leaving the city annually, seeking more affordable living conditions elsewhere. West Virginia grapples with a complex set of challenges that impact its residents and economic prospects. Foremost among these is the devastating opioid crisis, which exacts a heavy toll on public health and the economy. The state spends nearly $9.9 billion annually combating this crisis, addressing healthcare, criminal justice, and lost productivity due to drug-related issues. High rates of opioid addiction contribute to poor health indicators, including alarmingly high rates of obesity and heart disease, which strain the healthcare system and diminish overall public health outcomes. Frequent flooding adds to West Virginia's woes, with over 1,600 floods occurring between 2010 and 2021, causing significant property damage and loss of life. Inadequate infrastructure exacerbates the impact of flooding, limiting the state's ability to mitigate risks and recover effectively from natural disasters. Legislative changes have relaxed welfare and vaccination regulations, potentially worsening health and economic problems. The decline of the coal industry has further weakened the state's economy. West Virginia's historical reliance on coal mining has left many communities vulnerable to economic decline and job losses. As coal mining jobs have diminished, towns have faced economic devastation, high unemployment rates, and limited job opportunities. Over 300,000 residents live in poverty, with 11 counties experiencing chronic poverty, exacerbating socioeconomic disparities and hindering economic growth. Educational attainment in West Virginia lags behind the national average, with only 19.6% of adults holding a bachelor's degree or higher compared to the national average of 32%. This educational deficit limits economic opportunities and contributes to persistent poverty and unemployment in the state. Addressing these challenges requires comprehensive strategies that encompass public health interventions, infrastructure improvements, economic diversification, and educational reforms to foster long-term resilience and prosperity in West Virginia. New Mexico confronts a complex web of challenges that threaten its socioeconomic stability and overall well-being. Chief among these challenges is severe poverty, with an alarming 18% poverty rate that underscores widespread financial hardship and economic inequality across the state. High unemployment rates persistently exceed the national average, further exacerbating economic pressures and limiting opportunities for residents. Education outcomes in New Mexico rank among the lowest in the nation, with the state consistently placing last in K-12 education according to national rankings. This educational disadvantage hampers future economic growth and workforce development, perpetuating cycles of poverty and limiting opportunities for social mobility. Water scarcity poses a critical environmental challenge in New Mexico, exacerbated by prolonged droughts that have strained agricultural production and municipal water supplies. These conditions threaten local economies dependent on agriculture and exacerbate challenges in managing water resources sustainably for both urban and rural communities. Infrastructure deficiencies also loom large, with New Mexico earning a subpar C rating from the American Society of Civil Engineers for its infrastructure quality. Aging roads, bridges, and utilities require urgent investment and modernization to support economic growth, public safety, and community resilience. High crime rates further strain communities across New Mexico, with violent crime incidents consistently above national averages. These issues contribute to social instability, undermine community well-being, and pose challenges for law enforcement and criminal justice systems. Puerto Rico faces a multitude of severe economic challenges that have deeply impacted its residents and infrastructure. High unemployment rates persist alongside limited job opportunities, contributing to widespread poverty and economic instability across the island. The economy struggles with high debt levels and limited access to financial resources, exacerbated by challenges in attracting new investments and businesses due to ongoing fiscal uncertainties. Frequent natural disasters, including hurricanes, earthquakes, and floods, pose significant risks to Puerto Rico's infrastructure and economy. These events have caused extensive damage to homes, businesses, and public infrastructure, leading to prolonged recovery periods and hindering long-term economic growth. The island's vulnerability to such disasters underscores the urgent need for robust disaster preparedness and resilient infrastructure development. Healthcare funding issues compound the challenges facing Puerto Rico, with lower Medicaid and Medicare reimbursement rates compared to mainland U.S. standards. This disparity has strained the healthcare system, limiting access to essential services and contributing to healthcare disparities among vulnerable populations. Efforts to sustain healthcare services are further complicated by budget constraints and administrative inefficiencies. School closures and educational challenges have also plagued Puerto Rico, impacting the quality of education and future opportunities for its youth. Budget cuts and operational inefficiencies have led to significant school closures and have severely impacted educational outcomes. This situation threatens the long-term prospects of Puerto Rican students, limiting their future opportunities and perpetuating cycles of poverty and unemployment. In summary, these states and territories each face a unique set of challenges that threaten their stability and future prospects. From economic instability and natural disasters to inadequate infrastructure and educational shortcomings, the issues are interconnected and complex. Addressing these challenges will require targeted strategies, effective governance, and substantial investments to ensure resilience and promote sustainable growth. As we move forward, it's crucial to stay informed about these issues and advocate for solutions that can help mitigate risks and improve conditions for the residents of these vulnerable areas. Stay tuned to our channel for more in-depth analyses and updates on these pressing issues.